Just have to take a quick minute to thank our sponsors, Yellow Dog Paddle, Mackin's Rip and Lips Fishing Trips, Expedition Fly Fishing, NJFishing.com, and 8 Ball Sport Fishing. Also have to thank our supporters, Mike K's Guide Service, Psycho Jigs, Lip Glue, FC Fish Company, Nor'easter Hardcore Apparel, Toggy Time Jigs, The Mimi Sick, and The Gambler. Eddie Mackin's Rippin' Lips Fishing Trips. Eddie's been on fire. He boated 16 walleyes the other night. Really great night. Some real good ones. There are nights that are missed, too, depending on weather, but Eddie's pretty honest with calling them out. Chuck recently just went with Eddie. The first one actually got canceled because of weather, but they got out. You could see some videos of Chuck fishing with Eddie and Alex last week. Red Eye trips are still available. If you could only fish by yourself, you could still get on the night bite. Just call Eddie. You could jump on any boat. He will match you with another fisherman looking to fish with someone. So call Eddie Mackin for all your Lake-a-Pac-On needs today. 4. Yellow Dog Paddle, I think, just did their first lesson the other day. They took someone out and showed them how to actually set up an entire boat for trolling. Now this gentleman's going to go out and probably purchase a boat, or he already bought one. But the lessons are cool. You don't want to actually go fishing, and you just want to see how you need to set your boat up to be as successful as Mike. He's now offering that. You can go to yellowdogpaddle.com. He's also offering a frequent flyer pass. Great for retired people. You get to go on a couple different trips a few times a season. Doing very well right now on Round Valley Reservoir, trolling for Lakers and catching all kinds of other stuff on accident, big catfish. Call Yellow Dog Paddle today and book your trip. Hello and welcome to episode number 104 of the NJ Multi Species Podcast. I am your host, Joe Santiago. As always, my partner, Chris Pereira.
Here I am, confused as to the episode number.
Very confusing as the episode number, as the 100th episode still lingers over our heads and just floats around. We don't know where it is or if it even exists. Maybe it's not real. We don't know. A lot of quick fishing news before our guests come in. Tonight's guest is a man from Heroes on the Water who started out just as a person showing up to fish with them and now has actually become a part of the program. So he's going to talk us through the whole process, which is going to be cool to hear. But first, a lot of fishing stuff. The Mayhem competition. Chuck Manny is off to an unbelievable lead. I'm wearing my Tie Man shirt. He took first place with a brook trout, added first place now with a musky that I was there for to see, which was amazing. The fish was so amazing, I had to take a picture holding it, and I got ripped for holding it, but I had to do it. It was just an amazing fish. We fished for 8 hours. Chris was there for the first probably 6 of them, right?
Yeah.
We had action in the very early morning, a couple decent follows on lures. 1 or 2 of the baits got hit real hard, but no connection. The bait was scarred up pretty bad. We had some suckers out that we bought, and then we caught bluegills. We tried to catch some trout, but couldn't catch any for some reason. But, yeah, and then after that, it was dead. The northwest wind picked up horrendous, very limited spots to fish. Couldn't get any. It was miserable. Miserable. 11 o'clock, we let Chris off the boat, and we decided to stay, and I don't even know why the hell we decided to stay. We went another 2 hours staring at each other, just nothing. We had like 1 bait left in the cooler, and we were just trolling along, passing that same spot where we had action in the morning, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, man, it was so violent. This thing came shooting out of the weeds. You saw the wake, and you just saw the bobber go down, and I heard Chuck yell, "There she is! There she is!" And he's like, "Take it, take it!" And I'm like, "No, you take it, you take it." And we're like both, it's that awkward moment where we're both just staring at it, don't know who to take it. I'm like, "Chuck, just take it, dude." And he's like, "Take it." So Chuck takes it, he starts fighting the fish. And it's your rod that you left on the boat. And
yeah, you left out like the coolest part of the whole story.
Well, I'm getting to that. So Chuck is fighting this fish now on the left-handed reel, which Chris uses and Chuck hates. It's hilarious that he's fighting such a big muskie. And he's like fighting the muskie, like bitching at it, like, "Look at this thing, it's on the run. That's all right, I'll do it anyway." So he gets it in, we land. As soon as he lands it, like, we're screaming. You could see in the video, woo! But yeah, the funny thing that Chris is saying is we went with 10 suckers, and we went through 9 suckers between them either dying or falling off, and the one got eaten by a fish. Chris
I threw one out of the cooler when I went to go grab it. I grabbed it, and as I was picking it up, it squirmed, and I went like this, and it just shot over like into the water like a cartoon.
So Chris left this one sucker on that he had put on at 6 a.m., and that one sucker stayed on all day. It was never changed once. And This is 2 in the afternoon now, after like dropping. We've changed 9 baits on the other 2 rods. Chris's rod is still untouched. Now we have one last fresh bait, and Chuck's like, "Oh, let's put the fresh one on. It's the last one." Sure as shit, man, this fish comes out and it hits Chris's fish that was there the whole day. It's just like, what the hell? It was just crazy.
That thing went from the luckiest fish to the most unlucky fish. The
fish was beat up. I'm going to post a long, for some reason, when I squeezed that video into a short, it like squeezed the quality. I'm going to post a long so you could really see everything.
No, you can post a short, but you can't post it. If you post it as a post, it like compresses it.
It did something to ruin it. I want to redo it in high quality because this fish is real beat up. Like, it's scarred. It's got giant bloody cracks in it. It's real cool looking.
Post it as a reel. Then
I'm going to do that.
Quality.
I am going to do that as a reel. And you guys went brook. You guys hit trout fishing, and he ended up getting a first place brook trout. That beat my brook trout. I don't know if you want to talk about trout fishing at all, or if the guest is ready to come in.
Well, the guest is pretty much ready. I mean, we just stole your stocked brook trout spot and tried to get some brook trout. I couldn't do it. All I caught was rainbows. But, Chuck is Chuck. He's going to pull a freaking fish that he needs out of his ass every time, I'm convinced.
He is amazing. And we were saying the whole day on my boat, we're saying, Thai man, never seen a Thai man get skunked, never seen a Thai man get skunked. And here he is on my boat, musky fishing. I'm saying in my head, they're really going to hold me accountable for this, like the fish of 10,000 casts. Like, if he doesn't catch one, they're going to count it as a skunk. So all day they're telling him, Thai man's going to get skunked. So when that fish hit the net and we did the woo, as soon as like the camera shut off, I just looked over to Chuck and I'm like, I still never seen Thai man get skunked ever. And he just laughed. It was great, dude. It was just like one of those days that was so miserable, and it turned around in 1 second.
And that was one reason why you couldn't take that rod. He had to take it. The other reason is because I specifically left it just for him. I specifically said when I left the boat, I said, this is for you, Chuck. You can use my rod. Joe can't use it.
I mean, every time I've been to that lake recently or gone targeting that fish, I've let someone else bring. I haven't caught one myself in a while, but I've other people have caught them on my boat. I don't care, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I have the picture. Chuck was telling me, he's like, I'm glad you took the picture because 20 years from now, we won't remember who caught it and you'll think you caught it and it'll look cool. So
I'll be there. I'll be there to remind you that you're holding someone else's fish just like Max.
All right. Well, no, that's not true because Max doesn't have a boat, so he has no legal ground to stand on. Like, The fish in Round Valley that we caught, the 12, like that was all three of us caught it. You know, one guy had to steer, one guy had to use the net. Like, why does just the real man get all the credit? I understand it for a tournament, but in real life, it's an accomplishment for the whole boat.
If you're trolling, I can understand it. But I mean, we weren't really trolling. We were just kind of pulling and drifting. I don't know. You could justify it in your head if you want.
I'm not justifying that I caught the fish. I'm justifying that that fish coming in is like an accomplishment for the whole boat. Like, you never expected that morning to go out and catch 3 muskies. We knew that was impossible. But
no, that's not impossible. I
shouldn't say impossible. You're right. It's below my expectations to catch 3. I wouldn't expect to catch 2. I was expecting to probably catch 1, and we got 1. So, I mean, success. That's what we went for.
No, I'm with you on that. And look, I've fished with guys who will remain unnamed, but I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. I've fished with guys who, if you're fishing on their boat, no matter what you're doing, jigging,
it's their fish,
casting, every fish you catch is that they caught it.
Yes,
you're on their boat, it's their fish. No matter what, no matter how bad they are at fishing.
Now, what would have been interesting if you would have stayed and that rod went off, does Chuck still get that rod, or you're taking it instantly?
No, we each had our own rod with the bait and then casting on top of it. Like, if something hits the rod that you were controlling, I mean, you'd automatically grab it. So you leaving was what is Chuck's blessing, because he would have been screwed if you stayed. Oh, absolutely. I mean, no, he wouldn't have cared either. Just like we don't care. But
I didn't know either. We're gonna have Chuck back on, because when I was talking to him out there, it turned like Chuck is a gigantic musky fisherman who has like a very big musky background long before the striper thing.
Oh yeah. What he does with stripers now, he did with musky for years. Like he was obsessed with hunting giant musky.
I think that would make an interesting episode to have the Tie Man on here and talk about musky fish and some of the other stuff. He sent us pictures today of like 12 species. He's just a madman, this guy.
And I bet you he'd bring his buddy, who I forget his name off the top of my head, but I think his Instagram is like Musky Addict or something like that. The guy from Canada.
Yeah. That's I forgot what his name is, but he's like the musky master of the world, and he's coming striper fishing with Chuck.
Yeah. I think we got Jim. Jim's ready to come in, I think.
Jim is ready to come in, our guest. Okay. Expedition Fly Fishing. Joey X has been on the trout. He's posting pictures. Beautiful brown trout from the Catskills with an unbelievable background, scenic views from the West Branch of the Delaware River on his drift boat. He's offering $50 off if you book a trip with him within the next couple weeks. He's also offering wading trips on the Willowemac and the famous Beaver Kill, 2 very famous rivers. Obviously, you can't use the drift boat there, but he will take you in waders. All kinds of Catskill options with Expedition Fly Fishing. Call Joey X today. Okay, so we have our guest ready to come in. Tonight we have James Davis. James has been fishing New Jersey for 70 years. He's been a member of Heroes on the Water for 11 years. He showed up 11 years ago just as a veteran looking to fish. And 11 years later, he is now the treasurer. James, welcome to the NJ Multi Species podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, Jim. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good for an old guy.
Hey, you look good.
I have to ask right off the bat, Heroes on the Water, that's one of the organizations that we donate to from our Christmas party for the fundraiser. Right. And it's a really great organization. Could you just start off by telling us a little bit of a background of exactly what Heroes on the Water do for someone listening that doesn't know?
Sure. What we do is we take veterans and first responders around the state and mostly fish out of kayaks in different lakes. And what we find is it relaxes the vets a lot. They get to chat with each other about things they don't usually talk about. We give them breakfast and lunch. But I think if I tell you my story, how I got involved, that might give you a better idea of what it can do.
That would be cool. Now, you're a vet of, thank you for your service, by the way. You're a veteran of what? Of which?
Vietnam.
I can't read your hat.
Vietnam.
Okay. Thank you so much for your service. So tell us take us back 11 years ago now to when you're a vet looking for a place to fish.
So up till then, I've never been to anything having to do with veterans, the government, the military, or anything like that. I just didn't do anything. I didn't talk about Vietnam. I actually had coworkers didn't even know I went there. So I ran into a fellow. I was fishing locally. I live in Middletown, New Jersey. And he saw I have a little tattoo on my arm that said Vietnam. And he just casually said, "Are you a vet?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Wow, we're running an event Saturday at Sandy Hook, which is 5 miles away from there. Why don't you come?" And I said, "Well, thanks a lot, but I don't do things like that." I don't like to join. Yeah, I don't like to be in a group.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of vets probably, and just anglers in general, someone comes up to them and then their first response is probably like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm fishing by myself." Like, no thanks.
Yeah, but he's a very nice guy. And to make a longer story shorter, I only lived, like I said, 5 miles from where they were having it. So I drove over there and I actually sat in my car for like a half an hour watching what was going on. I don't know what I was looking for, but I was watching, And so then I finally.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but had you had any fishing experience before that, or not even fishing?
Oh, I'm a fishing maniac.
70 years, he said he fished.
So yeah, I've been fishing since, I lived in Jersey City. We fished for catfish and carp. That's all we had. But I
had you ever used kayaks before you approached Heroes on the Water? No. Okay.
No, never. And that first day I did. So everybody was so nice. Someone come up to me and they brought me over and signed me in and gave me an orientation and gave us some breakfast. And then they brought us over to a kayak, and then we had an experienced person in a kayak next to us. So that all the time we were in water, there was somebody within like 12 feet of you in case something happened. And it was a great feeling, floating, caught a few fish. And then when we came in for lunch, sitting at a table with one vet had a brain injury and another one only had one leg. And it made me feel pretty lucky that I was shot, but I got over it and had a couple of malaria and typhus things. But here I am,
Yeah.
More or less whole. So it was a wonderful, wonderful day. I get home and my wife and son look at me and they say, "Is everything all right?" And I said, "Yes." "Why?" And they said, "Well, you look a little different." And I looked at them and I said, "I think I'm happy."
That's a great story, though.
That's what it did for me. It brought joy back in my life.
It seems so simple, right? But
it's so simple. It's so simple. And you don't realize anything's happening. There isn't this moment of enlightenment or something like that. Yeah. It's just then sitting around chatting with the other vets. By the way, nothing bad. Nobody ever talks about anything bad when we're together, the vets. We talk about stupid things that happened and, dumb leaders. just like we were working in a job, So there's just something very therapeutic, I guess, about it. And it got me talking.
And and like you said, it's not a therapy session. Like you don't have to be talking about anything bad that happened. It's just it's probably really natural, right? I mean,
oh yeah, we tell the volunteers, don't ask them questions.
Yeah.
Answer questions.
Okay.
They want to have a conversation about something, they'll bring it up. So don't ask them, what did they do, what happened, or anything like that. Just bring up conversation, and that's what happens. It's a couple of people sitting together, and then eventually chat starts. Someone catches a fish or misses a fish. I had somebody in last year, and he wouldn't talk. I don't want to say wouldn't, but he didn't. And then he caught a fish, and then I couldn't shut him up. In fact, when the two of us got back in, they clapped because they could hear. He never shut up after that.
It's not a contest, right? It's
no. There's no contest. There's none of that. We don't do stuff like that, and everything's catch and release. Now, they always ask us if they can keep a fish, and I said, "Well, what are you going to do when you get back to the hospital?"
Now, a vet that wants to show up and is interested in this but doesn't have the equipment.
We supply everything.
They do. Wow.
Everything. We'll give you sunglasses, a hat, sunblock, breakfast, lunch, the kayak, the lures, everything. We'll tie the lures on for you.
All funded by donation?
All funded by donations. And just to clear up how that works, we do have a national. And they do have some paid employees. When we raise money in New Jersey for our chapter, it goes into, let's say, a box, just to describe it. And if at the end of the year we don't use all that money, we tell them how much we think we're going to need for the next year. And any excess can't go to national. It has to go to another chapter.
Okay.
All the chapters are 100% volunteer.
Gotcha.
So it would just go to maybe Pennsylvania chapter of Heroes on the Water, or New York.
Right. Exactly. Like last year, it might have been the year before. I honestly don't remember, but we gave 5 or 6 kayaks to another group because we had got some new ones.
And then obviously the same, if they have excess of materials or money and you guys are short that year, then they help you out. It's just kind of like a whole group working together.
Exactly. And the national will apportion that and all. And
let me ask you this, because
sure.
I mentioned before, and because I know a lot of guys,
that's nice.
You could drink whatever you want. When you're a veteran, right? I mean, there's this, I don't know where I'm looking for, but you're like that. You served, you took care of yourself. You fought for this country. Like you've seen things that nobody who didn't serve will ever see and probably can't even imagine. And so when you're back here and you're just fishing by yourself, like you were that one day, and someone came up to you and said, "Hey, we do this event where we take you fishing and we help you." A lot of guys like you kind of had the same response that I would imagine most veterans would have, is to kind of reject it in a way, like, no, I'm good. I can do this myself. I don't need to join any kind of group or get any help. I don't need the help, You get what I'm saying? What would you say?
I know exactly what you're saying.
And I'm sure you've had this conversation.
If I didn't live so close to that event, I probably never would have went.
So what do you say to other veterans that may hear this, or someone may tell them? What do you say to them to try to get over that first little hump? To just come look. You don't have to do anything. Just come check it out.
Listen, when you get there, we meet the bus. They come. Usually, it depends. We run 2 programs, so I have to break this up. During the week, we run a therapeutic program, and those are vets in the hospital or in programs. So we contact the VA. They put it up in Lions Hospital or wherever they are, and they sign up through them. Then on weekends are the open ones.
Okay.
So on the weekend ones, you just go online to Heroes on the Water NJ on Facebook, and there's a list of what events, and you click a button that says you want to go, and then sends you to, I think it's called Eventbrite. They do the tickets for us.
Okay.
And you log in, and it's free. And they send you an electronic ticket, which you really don't need. And that gives you where you go. And, we never turn anyone away. And so when you get there, you're met by a bunch of us volunteers. Some of us are vets, some of us aren't. And we bring you over and give you some breakfast and then sort of tell you what's going on, how it's going. And then we have a safety meeting. And we tell you, you don't have to do a thing. This is your day. We want to make it as great a day as we can for you. Generally, people are going to take a kayak and go fishing. You'll have a coach very close to you. If you don't want to go in the kayak, you don't have to. If you don't want to go fishing, you don't have to. You can just sit here.
So it's basically whatever they want. I mean, it's for them. If they want to sit out there and not fish, maybe they want to watch the other guys fish. Like they could literally make it whatever they want them.
Oh, absolutely. That's the whole idea. You're all of a sudden in an environment where you've got a bunch of people saying, whatever you need, we'll take care of it. And you don't have to do a thing. And it doesn't cost a thing.
And I feel the crazy part is I feel like I said before, like I feel like a lot of veterans may not look at that as something like they almost like don't want that, which sounds weird, but you get what I'm saying? Like, but it could be that too. They could come and just hang out and talk. And if they say, look, I can do this myself, then they do it themselves.
I'll give you an example. We also run 1 or 2 events just for women vets. They often have issues that the men don't have, in addition to, what they might have seen as vets. So in this one, we had a lady who was older than the others. She wasn't old. She ceased it. But she was older than the others. And she was sitting by herself, and I just went over and said, you okay? Can I get you anything? And she said, yeah. And she just seemed a little down. And I said, you don't want to go out? And she says, well, I'm afraid. So I said to her, you were deployed 3 times and you're afraid of a kayak? And she laughed at me. So I said, I'm going to sit you in one and land if it's okay with you. So we had it at the edge of the lake. She sat in it. I chatted with her for about 5 minutes. I said, I'm going to start pushing it, maybe 6 inches at a time. She said, okay. So I finally got it all the way in the water. That took about a half an hour. And then I stood in the water up to my waist, holding the side of the kayak for probably another half hour until she said, I think I'm ready. And then she stayed out for 2 hours, and she came back and she looked like a little kid on Christmas morning,
That's
and she said to me, this is the best day I can remember.
That's really great.
I mean, a couple of years ago, we had a guy, a World War II vet, who caught his first fish.
That's cool.
Wow.
So
that is crazy.
The looks on. Oh, let me tell you about an event we had last week. Is that okay?
You had an event already this season?
Oh yeah.
Wait, okay.
We had an event
before you tell the story. Then,
okay.
So I thought we were signed up for like some kind of email service where they send an email because we want to go to one of the events and volunteer. We told John when we had him on a couple of 2 months ago or whenever it was, and I thought we were in some kind of like email list. Is that how it works, or?
I don't know about an email list, to be honest. The one we did last week was therapeutic.
Oh, okay. Maybe that.
So you wouldn't have got a notice about that anyway. So we haven't run a regular one yet.
Okay. So before we let you go when you're done, you'll have to just tell us again how John explained, like anyone who wants to volunteer, like what they should do. Because I think he said
the
something.
same as a vet would do. go on the website, and join, and then it'll have either that you're going to fish or you're going to be a volunteer. And then whether you're a volunteer on the water or on land.
Okay.
But if you want at the end, we can talk about that too.
Yeah. Okay.
We do. I was going to say, we do once a year with the Round Valley Trout Association. They do a huge veterans trout tournament that we volunteer for. Some of you guys should check it out. You'd probably like it. It's open to all vets too. But we had this year we had one from the Navy, I think, and one from the Army, and they were just
wait a minute. The Navy doesn't count.
Well, the one from the
that's what they said to each other.
The one from the Army was telling him he got all the good food. The Navy guy had all the good food, and he had the shit food. But just listening to the two of them pass stories back and forth is hilarious in itself. It's just unbelievable.
That's one of the great things about it. I mean, last week I was talking to this vet, by the way, who was paralyzed from the chest down.
Oh, wow.
And we started talking about when you had to, how do I say this delicately?
You could say whatever you want here. There's no rules.
You had to take a dump.
Okay.
And you're out in the field.
We've had whole episodes about that.
You were in the desert and I was in the jungle. So did you have to bury it? I mean, conversations like that. He said, no. I said, we had to dig a hole and bury it.
It is hilarious. Jim, I have to thank you. I want to say thank you to you so much for taking your time to come on here and telling your stories. If you could explain how to, for someone that's watching, how do they get involved?
To volunteer.
Okay. So go on Heroes on the Water NJ, our Facebook page. And there'll be a thing that says, a little box that says events. And if you click on that, it'll show you what upcoming events are on.
Okay.
Then you just click on whichever one you're interested in. And it'll say, do you want a ticket? And you click that for the ticket. It takes you to an Eventbrite. This is pretty seamless, by the way. You fill out, your personal information, and then you say, I'm a vet, I want to fish. I'm a first responder, I want to fish. I want to volunteer. And there's spots on the ticket, where you tell them which one you want to be.
So it's all the same process, just you pick which one at the end, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Very simple.
And do you ever get to the point where I'll go on there and I want to volunteer for whichever event on a certain date, and like you already have X amount of volunteers and you don't need any more, and it tells me, or is it just as many as we can get?
If that happened, it will tell you, but it's usually as many as we can get. The one time it may not happen is if we have an event and the volunteer doesn't have a kayak, and we have all our kayaks called for.
Okay.
But then you could volunteer on land, help us set everything up and launch the kayaks and put them back on the trailers. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into one of these things.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds like
logistics of it, permits, insurance, and all like that. But it's just go on like anyone else would and click what you want. I think you'd enjoy it.
We know we would enjoy helping.
You already volunteer. The best way to make yourself feel better is to make someone else feel better.
Right. And you know it from both, because you went to it as a veteran and you're volunteering now in the program, so you understand. But for anyone that may not understand, I mean, when you volunteer to something like this, it's just it gives you this feeling almost like, it's the least that you can do to just like everyone's like it helps both sides. It goes both ways. Like everyone is getting something out of this. Like the volunteers have to be getting so much out of this as well, is my point. And And anyone that has never volunteered for something like this before, like, trust me, you're gonna get so much out of it too. And it's not just the feeling of, oh, I helped someone today, like I feel good about myself. It's so much more than that. It's just this connection that goes both ways.
Yeah. I always tell the vets, I said, I almost feel guilty because I get more out of this than you do.
Well, you are double dipping. You're a vet.
I know I'm a double dipper. But it's true. I mean, let me tell you about this event last week. Okay.
Sure.
So it was a therapeutic event. Pequest Trout Hatchery.
Oh, I saw that. I saw those pictures. I saw the picture. Yeah. That looked awesome.
We used their educational pond, and if you saw, I don't know all the pictures they took, but we had vets in wheelchairs, vets with brain injuries. Every one of them caught trout. Everyone, even the wheelchair guys.
So cool.
It was there was some big trout too, 5-6 pounders. It was like fishing in a bucket.
I was looking at those pictures. That was awesome.
I'm going to tell you something. Just to see the faces on these guys when they actually caught a fish. So all of these guys, by the way, were in hospitals, either up in the Bronx or Lyons.
And so even if they had fished when they were younger, they haven't fished in a long time. And I'm sure some of them, like you said, one guy caught his first fish. I don't know, at one of the events, whether they used to fish and haven't fished in a long time because of their injuries or just because of the situation, or if they've never fished before. I mean, I could never imagine how cool that must be to be able to do that.
We teach them how to cast, how to, we'll put the bait on the hook for them. We have a gadget, what's it called? Somebody made that we can strap across the wheelchair, right?
Okay.
So picture this. There's a drill on one end. There's a nut on the end of the drill. We used one of those spin cast reels.
Okay.
So we cast it out. We put it in a hole in this board. The drill nut goes to the handle of the reel, and then that's connected to a joystick. So when the bobber goes down, all they have to do is, which a lot of the quadriplegics can do.
They can control it like how they control their chair.
Almost.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
It opens up a world for them. It's just, I never go to one where I don't come home and think about it for another day or two. Picture people, see what happened.
Chris, we got to do this.
No, that's why I asked Jim, because I thought I had signed us up to get notified when there was an event that we could volunteer at coming up, but maybe I did it wrong, or maybe it just isn't close enough to one of those events.
I don't even know about that, because obviously I don't need to get a.
Well, so when John was on, and I asked him that, I said, okay, I can go on the website right now and sign up for an event, and at that point they weren't there yet, like the events weren't ready yet. So I think that's why he said something about an email. But if I go on now, the events for the entire season are there, or just the next?
Just the next one or two, probably, because we're still working. For instance, we want to do a Delaware. We've done Delaware River flow trips. We're trying to figure it out. We got to get permits, insurance.
All the red tape, pain in the ass.
All the red tape to go through. Then we have to figure out how to get all the kayaks and everything there, and the food, and where do you get the caterers, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of work behind it, and then you have to coordinate the dates with the VA too.
Right.
It's
a ton of work, and
Jim,
it's a ton of work.
It's worth it, though.
I have to first thank you for your service. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome,
a veteran.
It's nice of you to say, by the way.
Thank you for your time volunteering to other veterans on Heroes on the Water. And thank you for taking your time to come on here and talk with us on the NJ Multi Species podcast.
My pleasure, because I hope other vets or first responders see this, and it might convince them to come and join us, and also volunteers.
Well,
it's easy to write a check, isn't it? It's very easy to write a check. It's not easy to give up a day.
I agree.
Well, I think once you go once, I think you realize how much it does for you as a volunteer too. And I think after then it's probably a lot easier to come back again. But if anyone listening wants to take our word for it, and we haven't done a Heroes on the Water event yet, but like Joe said, we did. I think Joe's done it twice. I did it once because I couldn't make the one, but we've done the event that the Round Valley Trout Association does. And it's just so cool. And it's not even about like, oh, I feel good because I'm helping these veterans. It's just, it's so much more than that. It just connects you with like-minded people and everyone's having a good time and you're fishing and you're sharing stories and it's just a great time. And it just heals your soul. I don't know how else to put it.
You put it perfect. You put it perfect. Right. And I guarantee anyone who goes will have a great day. I mean, I guarantee it.
There you go.
Even if you come there with an attitude, like a certain person did once.
You got a guarantee of a great day from James Davis. James, thank you so much for coming on the NJ Multi Species Podcast.
You're very welcome, guys.
Have a great evening, and we hope to see you on the water.
We will.
Me too.
We are going to see you. You're at every event, or most of them, at least?
Oh, I'm pretty much at every event. Although I'm old. I'm 78, so you never know. I may die, but...
Well, we're gonna fish with you before
we might die too. Who knows?
That's true. Any of us can go at any time. But
exactly, yeah. But I try to make every single one, the midweek therapeutic ones as well as the weekend ones.
All right, awesome.
All right, guys.
Okay, James, enjoy.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
Take care.
Okay. Do I just hang up now?
Yeah, you can just hit that red button.
Okay. Bye.
Good. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jim.
So me and Chris have been looking for a saltwater boat for a while that kind of just has extreme flexibility, and we finally found it with 8-ball sport fishing. Seems just to be like a match perfect for us. Captain Dom Extreme Flexibility does after-work striper trips and 6-pack striper charters with the mini rods. Very low price. I'm not going to just spew his price out, but if you call him and ask, you'll be impressed by his price for a 6-pack charter. Also does shark trips. The shark trips are a different price, obviously, because you got to go a little farther. But right now, he's targeting sea bass, targeting stripers. He's targeting anything that's biting that you want to do. This guy is really a great phone number to throw in the phone book if you have a couple buddies just looking to jump on a boat and don't want to get on that big party boat. You want the more private 6-pack, 8-ball sport fishing. This guy's perfect to call. I didn't want to say this while he was on because I didn't want to be disrespectful, but a lot of my views have changed since this podcast started, and one of them is volunteering. Before this podcast started, my philosophy always was volunteering is for suckers. If you're volunteering for anything, you're a sucker. It's just slave labor. That was my old philosophy until I volunteered for that RVTA veterans thing. And like Chris said, I just came home and felt great, especially when they caught fish. I felt even better. So I could see why he, like a guy like that, that's a whole nother level. It completely changed his life to where he became involved with it, and now it's like part of his life. So that's awesome. These things are out there. There are people that are too shy. There are people that are afraid. These groups are very open to working with anybody. You know, don't be afraid. That's all I could say.
Yeah, and I mean,
try it.
Yeah, it ain't gonna hurt you to try it, and in fact, you don't even have to try it. You just go and watch. Like you heard Jim, he wasn't really sure about it, but it was really close, and he drove by in his car and he sat there in the parking lot and just looked, and then he said, "Oh, this doesn't look so bad. Like, let me get out and see this. This person looks nice to talk to." Started talking to someone, and it just went from there. And I've never heard a story about someone going to one of these things and then never going back. I've never heard that story, not once, ever.
Yeah.
Whether it's a volunteer or a veteran or a first responder, like going to it, I've never heard of someone like, JoJo came the 1 year and we never seen him again unless they pass away. I mean, they keep coming back.
The World War II veteran catching his first fish, that's amazing. I would imagine a World War II veteran would have to be over 80 years old at this point.
I don't know when the story was from, but yeah, he'd have to be up there. Yeah.
Well, he's only been in 11 years, so it can't be that long ago.
True.
So that vet went a long time before he caught his first fish. I mean, that must have been something. Really cool shit. But yeah, so another thing that has changed me on this podcast, I would have used to tell you volunteering was for suckers. Now I am a high advocate of volunteering for.
You're telling me that if someone said they volunteered to help veterans, like back then, you'd say, "Oh, you're a sucker."
You're a sucker. Yeah, I was on a fire department, firefighter, and an ambulance squad for 2 years, and it made me realize that I was a complete sucker. You're just a sucker. Let them pay someone to do it. I got other shit to do. Just the way I was. I could understand that for I could understand your point of view, even though I don't agree with it. I can understand it when it comes to like a volunteer fire department. Well, why aren't you a volunteer fireman then?
Because I don't have time.
I mean, no one does. Who has time for this?
People have time. Some people enjoy doing. I mean, look, let's be honest. At this point, I couldn't be a volunteer firefighter. I'd probably pass out and die.
I'm just using it as an example. I'm just using it as an example of how some of my, just like guides, before this thing would have started, I would have tell you, never hire a guide. It's a waste of money. Those aren't your fish. They don't count. Now I'll tell you that hiring a guide is the smartest thing you've ever done, because you basically just bought 40 years of footwork in an hour. It's changed a lot of philosophies, but really cool guest. I like having guests on like that, tell their story. A couple more things before we go. Saltwater Mayhem on the Gambler is approaching. It is less than 2 weeks away. If you're going, get prepared. The boat launches at 6 a.m. We have prizes. Mike K and the Sporting Life are giving away a gift basket for the smallest sea bass caught. So you catch the smallest sea bass, you're winning a nice cutting board and the egg basket. He's
serious about that?
Oh, yeah. The Palomares rod, me and Chris haven't decided how we're giving that away yet, but we will. It's going to be around 65 people. We're hoping for great weather on the Gambler. Sea bass season's going to open next weekend, and hopefully that's going to be awesome. I talked to Captain Lido today. He said not much exciting to report, but they went on one tile trip. They had tile fish up to 37 pounds. And then they went, where did they go? They went fluking in the ocean, which he said was really, really bad. So he said they're basically just in a state of limbo waiting for sea bass to open. I think a lot of boats are.
Their boat's too big to fluke in the backwater where these guys have been.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, the Gambler went out to the ocean. I saw Fishmonger. Jerry Pastorino took both Fishmongers up into the river for fluke, and it looks like both boats did good. Red boat, green boat. That's the new post you're going to see now, red boat, green boat, from the Fishmonger. So they did good up the river, but yeah, the ocean was slow. So the boats are just waiting on sea bass season to kick off. The last thing I want to touch on, Multi Species Mayhem, the update board. As I said before, the tie man, Chuck Manny, he has 29 points. He's in a commanding lead, but it's only been 2 weeks. A lot of fish there are beatable. Second place, Katie Slowski. She has 11 points. A lot of species there for her.
Did these people, they've never read the story about the tortoise and the hare?
Oh, they know. I mean, they're just firing in these little panfish and shit. There's some of these ones on Chucks. They're legit. I mean, the shad, you're running out of time on a shad. He's going to lock that one in. Third place, we have Mustache Max Wilson. Fourth place, we have Sandy Kennedy, which I did say we were going to see somebody fire out from North Jersey. She fired out with some giant fish already. And she hasn't even ventured up into North Jersey for any of the species up here. So she's going to be a major problem.
I invited them up to fish here. Like
you're sabotaging the contest by inviting them, but I invited them too. They're welcome anytime.
Well, I expect them to give us a starting point or some pointers or point us in the right direction for down there for the species that we can only get down there.
Kennedy's. I need I need a giant white perch, snakehead. What else? I'll take a long, largemouth bass and a bowfin. Fifth place, we have Kevin Glenn, but we don't count him because he's running it, and he just went out last night fishing for the first time ever and just entered a bunch of shit fish no one cares about.
Who's verifying his fish?
I'm not sure. We don't. These are fish like he caught a white perch, a hybrid striper, the first place hybrid striper. That's poached. Channel catfish. I'm not even reading his fish. He sucks. Sixth place, we got Dwayne Squatchman. Seventh, Alan Chesner. Eighth, Chris Pereira. Never heard of him. Ninth, Kevin Kennedy, who's right there with his wife. Another South Jersey threat. And then 10th, Christian Nieves, who's only entered that one carp. So he's in 10th place just with that one big carp. Another Delaware River fisherman from out western Jersey. Definitely a threat. And there are some sleepers out there that haven't done anything yet, like you said, the tortoise and the hare, but we know that they are going to put up some fish.
I
think one of them, hopefully.
I think Kevin is considering trying to do something with like the monthly standings. I don't know if he's going to end up doing it this season.
I actually have 3 points, and I'm tied for 10th, I think, with Christian, but because his carp is bigger than anything I've caught, he gets the tiebreaker. That's what knocks me off.
That's the tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker is determined by who caught the biggest fish, and he has a carp. So I haven't had anything that big. But so far it's worked pretty good. 140 fish have been entered. 2,774 have been disqualified. But I'm just kidding. But yeah, 140 have been entered, and the internet hates Kevin, so that makes everything great. Keep nagging on him too.
Oh, that's one of the best parts of this contest is just breaking Kevin's balls over it.
And I'm really hoping people are watching the contest, seeing how much fun it is, and hoping to get in it next year. Because like Chris says, the more participation in it, the more that we're going to be able to bring to the table of this. And we don't even really consider this the first year of it. This is like the prototype of it. So it will get bigger and better, as most things do, but it takes participation to do that. But so far, not too bad. A couple of crazy incidents, but not too crazy, and everyone seems happy so far, except for Chuck, who's just... It's like Wyatt Earp is here to just kill everyone. Hell hath no fury. He entered fish to try to be nice and be a part of it. Kevin disqualified all of them. And Chuck has decided to just murder all of us. He took a giant muskie off my boat. He stole a brook trout from in front of Chris's face. No take prisoners. Chuck Manny is on a killing spree. But he is going back to the ocean now for a little bit, so we have time to catch some fish while he's gone.
But I'm worried, dude, because like he has these commitments where he's told people that he will take them out for stripers. But normally, other than that, he's striper fishing himself on top of that for the whole season.
He's
not the summer, but the whole striper season, spring and fall, like those windows where they're here and it's, you can catch him without killing him in the really hot water. And now
he's not in his pattern at all.
So now with this contest, it's like, he's like, oh, I got to take people out for the next week and a half or so. And then I'm getting right back in the fresh water. I want a tiger muskie. I want to go to South Jersey and catch him. I'm like, holy shit, that we made a monster.
It's a monster. Well, today would have been a day that he would usually always go striper fishing. And he wasn't. He was out throwing worms around and sent us pictures of 14 species. He is on a warpath.
But we're enabling him. Like I sent him to my one spot. And he's just like sending me pictures. Hey, I raped your spot. And I'm like, oh,
you did.
All right.
We kind of we helped him a little bit with the brook trout. And we kind of helped him a little bit with the other fish, with one other fish. But a lot of those fish he caught himself too. And I know he has plans of heading to South Jersey where he's going to target all those fish. So I don't see any way of stopping him, but we'll try. It'll be fun to try to stop the Thai man now. But yeah, I'll settle for second place at this point with that. It's just ridiculous. Who's the guest for next week? Is it who I think it is? Wait, can I?
Who do you think? What?
Is it Captain Bogan? Is he?
Could you actually look at the calendar and see what the guest is next week?
No, but I've been waiting for Captain Bogan for a long time. Is it him?
Well, your wait is over. It's Captain Bogan.
So Captain Bogan is going to be the episode next week, and that episode will air the day before the Gambler trip, which is awesome. Before it. So, Gambler Captain Bogan, next week guest. We will be back. If you're fishing the Mayhem contest, good luck. If you're fishing on your own, good luck. Chris, I'm done.
No, according to John, you just cursed everyone by wishing them good luck. And so with that, I say suffer for the fish and not good luck. And we'll see you next time.
Good night, John. Now Deuce is going to tell us none of it worked.